So hey guys, today's video will be the most interesting video because today we will be learning the intuition behind the combination, and believe me, you will enjoy it thoroughly. Okay, so before starting that, let's get warmed up. Okay, so say I have set A whose cardinality is 3. Okay, so set A is consisting of three elements x, y, z. Now the question is, how many subsets are there? What is the total number of subsets? Okay, so we learned the basic principle of multiplication, but still we will go uh, rather very simple way. Okay, so what is a subset? A subset is any set whose elements are from its parent set and whose cardinality is less than or equal to that of its parent set. Okay, so that's the basic definition of subset which we all know. Okay, so if I ask you how many subsets will be there, so see, what how we can see this question. Let's say we started here. For the element x we have two choices: either I will take it or I will reject it. Now here for element y also I am having two choices. Okay, either I am gonna select it or I am gonna remove it or taking not into the consideration. Again I have element z which are having again two choices: either I will take it or I won't take it, right? And same is the case over here: either I will take it or I won't take it. Now if the second criteria means the second of possibility which were, if I didn't take x, then for y what choices did I had? I could take the y or I could miss the y, right? Again for z what choices do I have? I can take the z or I can miss the z. Again here also when I am not taking y, still z has its own possibilities: either it can be there or it cannot be there. So let's summarize what all we took. So here we took each and every element. So what subset we got? This, right? Here we ignored z. So what subset we got? This, right? In this case, here we took x, right? But we didn't took the y, but we took the z. So x, we didn't took the y and the z. Here we took neither y nor z, so we left with only x, right? Now coming over here, here in this case we didn't take x but we took y, we took z. In this case we took y but we ignored z, so that's it. Here we did not take x, did not took y, but we took the z. Here we took nothing, so it's all right. Okay, now I can represent this as like that or that. Okay, both are same, but remember this is not at all equivalent to this. Okay, that's the basic thing, right? Now how intuitively we can tell? See, I want to make a subset, so first element we will have two choices, right? It can be there or it cannot be there, corresponding to which means those are the two arrow which I have shown for the element x are the representative of the operation multiplication, right? These arrows are the operation of multiplication. So corresponding to that I am having again two choices for the y, and corresponding to that I am having two choices for z. Okay, I will summarize it quickly. If I took the x, for y I am having two choices again, right? I can take the y or I won't take the y. Okay, so these were corresponding to what? Either I am taking x or not taking x. Now corresponding to all the possible combination of these two elements I am having again two possibilities for the third element, right? So what this tells, the total number of subset is 2. Okay, so I hope this was the pretty easy part till now. I hope you have enjoyed it. So now let's dive more deeper. Okay, so just give me a second. Yeah, so we understood that if I am having the m elements, so total number of subset would be 2 raised to m. Okay, this seems very easy and very understandable. But now what if I ask you how many subsets are there, subsets with cardinality, let's say k. Okay, with cardinality k. So before answering this question, let's take an example. Okay, say I am having 5 elements in total. Okay, so my m is equals to 5, and I am asking you how many subsets will be there of size 3. Okay, so this 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, please pay attention, this is where the fun will begin. Okay, so a b c d e. So if I ask you out of how many subsets will be there which are having 3 elements, exactly 3 elements, now how can we answer this? Please try to think on yourself, by yourself, pause the video or give it a thought, and we will continue later. Okay, so I hope you have paused the video and give it some thought. So now let's dive into deeper. Okay, so what I want out of, even though I'm using the C symbol here for the combination, don't worry, we are just talking casually, don't bother about what the C means. Out of 5 I want to choose 3 elements, right? So now let's see, here, right? Okay, so consider this element. Okay, consider A. Now if I told you I am gonna take the element A, what the sub problem reduces to? Among these 4 elements I need to take 2 elements, right? Among these 4 I will take 2 elements, and the third element is already been selected, right? So please again listen to it, I am again repeating it. The one way to think the problem is, no matter which subset I take, either it will contain A or it won't contain A, right? It will either contain A, or principle of addition, fundamental addition, or it won't contain A, right? These are the two possibilities, right? And we know that both of these possibilities are totally disjoint. There is nothing common in between them, right? So we are looking at the first possibility. So say if I am 100% sure that I am gonna take the element A, what my rest of the problem reduces to, amongst these left 4 elements I need to choose only 2 elements, right? So this is what my problem reduces to. So among 4 elements I need to choose the 2 elements. Okay, now other case. See, I will draw a fresh diagram over here. A b c d e. Now what I am saying is that no matter what happens, I am not going to take A at all. So A is not going to be in my calculations. Okay, I am not considering A. So what my sub problem will reduce to, I am left with these 4 elements. The total number of elements which I wanted to select was the 3, right? And however I am not at all taking the element A, that's for sure. So in order to take those 3 remaining elements, what choice do I have? I will have to take the 3 elements from these 4 elements, right? No other option is there for me, right? See, so what can I write? I need to take the 3 elements from those 4 elements. Out of 4 elements, choose the 3 elements, right? So did you get this idea, right? So if we want to cross check, so let's do it now. uh, what's the 5c3? 5 4 3, and the 3 2s are 6, right? These three, so this came out to be 10. What is a 4c2? 4c2 can be written as 10, means you can do the calculation, of course. 4 3 upon 2, these 2 to the 4 2 3 6. Oh shit, sorry. And the 4c3, what is the 4c3? 4c3 is equivalent to that of the 4c1, so it's 4, right? So what the answer do we get here? 10. And what the answer do we get here? 10. So both of them are equivalent. So what can I say, that if out of n elements I have to choose the k elements, right, or rather m elements, out of m elements I have to choose the k elements. So what can I say? I have fixed one element that it will always be gonna there in my set. So amongst the m minus 1 element, I need to choose the k minus 1, or the element which were my means choice, which we took in the first set. So here I am saying I will never take that. So what happened now? So remaining m minus 1 elements are there, and out of them I need to choose the k elements now. So do you getting the intuition behind this, right? What this formula says, right? So, and remember, these two are completely disjoint sets, right? There is nothing in common in between them. That's why we were able to apply the fundamental principle of addition, because in this case the element which we are talking about, and it could be any random element, okay? It's not necessary it has to be the first element or last element. It can be any element. So here we were talking about the element a, say, will always gonna be there, and here I was saying it won't be there at any case, right? So what happened, these two are completely disjoint cases, and at the same time the both are producing the different answers, right? So this is what the intuition behind the selection operation, right? Those of who have studied the dynamic programming or from the CS background, they can understand that this is nothing but the dynamic programming. Are you getting the intuition? This is the dynamic programming, because in this case now if you want to solve these sub problems, you will notice that there are many overlapping sub problems to solve both of these. So dynamic programming is the concept which can be used to tackle this problem. In many test series you will find this kind of a problem, especially in test book they will ask you this question definitely, where they will ask you the complexity for this code. Okay, so what they do is the question will be like this. They will give you some recursion. They will say m comma k is equals to m minus 1 comma k minus 1 plus m minus 1 comma k, and they will give you some base cases also, like if m comma k equals to 1, if m equals to k. So these will be the problem which they will give you in terms of a recursion, and they will ask you the what is the best case time complexity. Now if you don't know that this is the formula of the combinations itself, you won't be able to hit the logic of dynamic programming, right? Because when I had solved this question, I wasn't aware about this logic. So it took me a very long to get to know that what will be the solution where values of m and k were given. So please keep this thing in mind. I hope you had got the intuition behind what is the selection operation in general is. Okay, so in next video I will be talking about combination itself, but in terms of formula now. Okay, we will understand the intuition behind the formula. Okay, good. Take care of your time and take care of yourself.